Well, hi there everyone and welcome. I'm Kareth and I'm so glad you joined me in my kitchen today. On my channel, I like to open up cans of freeze-dried food and use them. And I do this for both everyday cooking as well as long-term food storage. Today's recipe is for another meal in a jar. This one is for white chicken chili. And I got this recipe from my friend Gina from church. And she said that her family likes this white chicken chili so much better than the regular chili that has the tomato base and the beef in it. She said that this is the only kind of chili they make anymore. And I've had her chili and it's fantastic. So I based this recipe on hers. So thank you, Gina. This one has a cream cheese and a sour cream based sauce. So it's more of a white sauce. I actually forgot to put up my cream cheese bag. I did use the Judee's brand of cream cheese powder. You can kind of see it in the background there. So I am making a quart size jar of this because I wanted to feed all 4 of us. You can easily cut this recipe in half, put it in a pint-sized jar if you don't need this much food. Other than the sour cream and the cream cheese powder, the rest of these ingredients are kind of normal for chili. Now I'm including 2 kinds of beans in my recipe. I'm using the pinto beans and the refried beans. You don't have to use both. You could use one or the other. If you don't have either of those, the Thrive Life black beans would be wonderful in this too. It just gives, a different color. A lot of the ingredients in here you'll recognize as just normal ingredients you would put into chili. Well, maybe not the chicken, but this is a chicken chili, so it's got to have chicken in it, right? Yeah, so the rest of these seasonings are just gonna round out the flavor and give you a wonderfully flavorful broth. I will say this, there's just so much room in a quart-sized jar. If you want more substance to your chili, like if you want it thicker, what you can do is you can store this alongside another jar and just fill that jar full of beans. If you add more beans to this, you will stretch this farther. If you're going to store this for the long term, go ahead and put an oxygen absorber in there. And this is what you would be storing on your pantry shelf. Once again, it's a very simple, just add water recipe, so it makes it ideal for gifting. If you try this recipe and you like it, you could also make 3 or 4 of these at a time. You kind of set up an assembly line process, make several of them at a time. That way you have them if you need them. I'll include my full recipe in the video description box below. When you're ready to prepare it, go ahead and get out a large soup pot. I used my Dutch oven here. And you'll just empty the contents of your jar into your soup pot, and then you're just going to add water. And that's all there is to it. It's another very simple recipe. It's a just add water recipe. I added 7 cups of water to my chili because I like it with a lot of broth. If you don't want that much broth, cut that back to 6 cups. Your seasonings should still be fine. Now, I did forget to include the chef's choice in my recipe, so I added it here, but I'll make that correction in my recipe notes in the video description box below. Go ahead and bring this to a boil, and then once it reaches a boil, you'll turn down your heat to maybe medium-low. I did maybe 3.5 out of 10 on my stove, and then I covered it and I simmered it for 20 minutes. Basically, you're just wanting your beans to get tender. My beans were tender after 20 minutes. Every once in a while, just come along and give this a stir and make sure nothing is sticking to the bottom. After 20 minutes, you'll want to taste test to make sure your seasonings are good and to make sure that your beans and your chicken are tender. Now's a great time to add some fresh ingredients. I have turned off my stove, so the heat is off, and I'm adding a couple Texas-sized spoonfuls of sour cream. Now this is optional, but I think it's fantastic. Also, I do recommend adding some true lime packets. I added 2 packets into my chili. You don't have to do this, but I think the acidity from the lime cuts through the creaminess and it's just wonderful. You can also use fresh lime wedges. My family likes to serve this white chicken chili over some corn chips or some Fritos. So that's how I'm doing this today. And also, we like to garnish with another dollop of sour cream and some fresh cilantro, some lime wedges. I think avocado would be amazing. But isn't that lovely? It's such a pretty soup. I really, really think you guys are going to like this one. The corn in here provides a really nice balance to the chicken and the beans. It's sweet, it's crunchy, it's wonderful. You can see the pinto beans, the corn, the chicken, the green chilies, and that wonderful creamy broth. It is fantastic. Well, thanks guys for joining me today. If you're interested in purchasing any of the Thrive Life freeze-dried foods you see featured in my videos, I'll include my shopping link in the video description box below. I call this food groceries for now or groceries for later because most of the food has a 25-year shelf life, making it ideal for long-term food storage. And it's also good for an entire year on the shelf after you open it, which makes it perfect for everyday cooking. It helps us cut down on food waste and spoilage. That's how we've saved money since we started cooking with Thrive Life. They say the most expensive food is the food you throw away, right? How true is that? Well, anyway, y'all have a blessed day, and until next time, y'all take care and keep thriving.